Chapter 2 War Memorials. The war memorials on the National Mall honor the people who served during wartime. The heart of the World War II memorial is a beautiful sunken pool. 56 columns surround the pool. There are two large arches that represent the victories in the Atlantic and in the Pacific. To the west, 4,048 gold stars decorate a curved wall. The stars represent more than the 404,800 American soldiers who lost their lives. The Vietnam War, which ran from 1957 to 1975, was the longest war in which the United States had been involved. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial was completed in 1982. It is dedicated to the more than 58,000 Americans who died or went missing in action during the Vietnam War. Their names are written on the memorial's walls. A statue honoring the thousands of women who served in the war was added in 1993. The Korean War Veterans Memorial honors the Americans who served in the Korean War, which lasted from 1950 to 1953. 19 steel sculptures of the soldiers are placed throughout the site. The figures look as if they are emerging from the forest behind the memorial. About 2,500 images of people who served in the war have been etched onto a wall of remembrance. Chapter 3 Collecting America's History. Like monuments and war memorials, museums help people remember the past. The National Mall has a number of museums. Many of them are part of the Smithsonian Museum complex. At the Air and Space Museum, visitors can see the Wright brothers' first plane. They can see the suits that the astronauts wore on the moon and the Apollo 11 command module that carried them to the moon. The gowns worn by the First Ladies at inaugural balls are also on display at the Museum of American History. There are traces of transportation history there too, with trains from the 1800s and a station wagon from the 1950s. Museums and art galleries give clues about other cultures. The Museum of African Art displays African masks, paintings, sculptures, textiles, ceramics, and crafts. The Hirshborn Museum and Sculpture Garden features a collection of sculptures. Many of the artworks have been given by private citizens. The National Gallery of Art displays artworks from around the world. It also shows art by American artists. The Freer Gallery is famous for its collection of Asian art. The gallery was started by Charles Lang Freer, who built railroad cars. He also collected artworks. The National Museum of the American Indian. The National Museum of the American Indian is dedicated to the culture and history of Native Americans. It houses thousands of historical items, films, and photographs. The museum's natural look represents the close ties that Native Americans have to the environment. Conclusion. The Arlington Memorial Bridge is the foot of the National Mall. It links the mall to Arlington Cemetery. That is where many of Americans' heroes are buried. Two American presidents, William Howard Taft and John F. Kennedy, are also buried there. The National Mall is the heart of Washington, D.C., and of the nation, the National Mall is a place of which every American can be proud.